Welcome back, students. This is part 2 of the different compounding period problems. So we're going to be starting with number 5. If you wanted to see number 1 through 4, you got to go to the video before this. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this. You are a hard money lender and you lend to people who cannot obtain money from a traditional bank. The nominal rate. So when you see nominal rate, I just want to stop. Nominal rate. You know, your brain should really think the yearly or contracted rate you charge is 18%. That's important. Let's highlight that. Okay. 18% on the cash you loan. Further, you expect payments quarterly since that's how your loan compounds. If you were approached for a 1-year loan of $125,000, how much should the quarterly payments you receive be? Okay, so let's go over here to the chart. What mode is this in? Well, this is in end mode because there's no talk of the payment starting today. And what is the compounding periods? It's going to be quarterly. So it's going to be here. It's going to be in fours, right? So the terms. So we have, what are we looking for? How much should the quarterly payment be? How much should the quarterly payment you receive be? So we're looking for payments. Okay, so all right, now let's start from top to bottom. So how much time? We have 1 year. What's the interest rate? 18%. The present value, that's how much you are loaning out. Since you're loaning it out, it's an investment to you. It's going to be a negative $125,000. Right? You expect payments and you expect to be paid down all the way down to 0, right? You want the balance to be 0 at the end. So now this is where this part comes in. Periods. How many quarterly periods in 1 year? We have to multiply by 4. So that gives us 4 quarterly periods. The interest rate is 18%. Now here we're going to divide by 4 and that's going to give us our interest rate. So 18 divided by 4, that's going to give us the interest per quarter, 4.5%. The present value is the negative $125,000 we're loaning out. We want them to pay us down to 0. So it's saying how much do we need to be paid back every quarter? So if this is 1 year, this is 4 quarters, and then this is 2 quarters, 3 quarters. Let's call this the first quarter. Okay. All right. So 125,000 that we're loaning out. What is the payment? One thing I want you to know, if you already have the period and the interest rate in the right terms, the payment is going to be per quarter. Okay. That's how it'll come out in your financial calculator. So second, clear time value of money. Okay. So top to bottom or left to right, we have 4 quarters. And then we have 4.5 interest per quarter. The present value is $125,000 that we're loaning out. And we're going to get down to 0, right, when they pay down that loan. So we're going to compute the payment. So the payment will be $34,842.96. Okay. 34,892 and let's see what that was. 842.96. 842.96. This is going to be negative. This is going to be positive. We're receiving this money back. Okay. All right. Let me just make sure one last time that this is correct. 34,842 and 96. Okay, so we will receive times 4 different payments. Dang, I don't know why it likes to do that sometimes. Okay, all right, so I hope you were able to get that same answer. I hope you were able to follow along with that. Let's keep going. So you want to refinance your car loan since you think you are paying too much interest on your monthly payments. You know you purchased a car for $32,000 and that your payments will be $670 for the next 72 months. So what is the interest rate on this loan? So quick tip, your answer of the interest rate should be in the nominal annual rate. So what is it asking? It's asking for the interest rate, right? We know the payments are $670. This is per month. The terms are 72 months. So when you get the solution for the interest rate, it's going to be on a per month basis. But this is asking, what is the interest rate on this loan? It's asking, and then it tells you it must be in the nominal annual rate. So we're going to need to do a conversion. Now we borrowed $32,000 and we're going to pay that down to zero. So let's do our timeline here. 72 months. The interest rate is what we're looking for. Present value is what we borrowed, which was 32. Since we borrowed it, it came to us, it's positive 32. Future value is 0. The payment, right, is going to be that we're paying $670 a month. And this is going to be a total of 72 months or 6 years. So what is the interest rate? Let's put this in our financial calculator. Now here, I kind of forgot to do this. The mode is going to be N, and it's going to be in months, right? Everything is going to be in months. Even the interest rate is going to be per month, okay? So let's do this from left to right. Let's second clear time value of money. Now, how many periods? 72. The interest rate is what we're looking for. The present value is the $32,000 that we borrowed positive. The 670 is what we're going to be paying monthly. Since we're paying, it's negative. And the future value is 0. So then the interest rate is 1.2181. So 1.2181, but this is not the final answer. This is per month. And we need this needs to be per year. So we need to multiply this by 12 to get this in a per year answer. So we're going to take this number and just hit times 12. That's going to give us 14.61 or 14.62. So 14.62% is what we're paying in interest nominal. That's the nominal annual rate that we're paying, 14.62. Okay, so you can't stop here, right? You have to know what this is asking. It's asking for the nominal interest rate, and that's that there. Okay, all right, let's keep going. All right, question 7. You want to save up for a vacation in 3 years. You can invest $2,500 semi-annually starting today. Look at that. All of these really important things right here. In 3 years, $2,500 semi-annually starting today. Okay. The nominal interest rate is 9%. Here comes a question. How much will you have saved for your vacation? Okay, so first off, what are we looking for? How much will you have saved, right, in the future? Now, let's start from top to bottom. What mode should we be in? Well, it says starting today here. So we need to be in begin mode. What periods do we need to be in? It is semi-annually. So it needs to be twice a year. And now we can start pulling terms from the question, right? From top to bottom. How many years? 3 years. What's the interest rate? The nominal interest rate is 9%. The present value, well, it doesn't say. We're not starting with anything, but it does say we can save $2,500 semi-annually starting today. So let's put this in our timeline. Okay, present value, future value, and then the first payment starts today. So that's $2,500. All right, so let's grab our financial calculator. First things first, the mode. We must be in begin mode. So we're going to do second. Above payment, it says BGN, and then second set. So now we're in begin mode. So we're going to do top to bottom. But before we do that, we need to take care of our periods. Notice we are still in years. We need to be in semi-annual terms. So 3 years. We're going to multiply for the years. We're going to divide for the interest. So 3 years, 3 times 6, 3 times 2 is 6 semi-annual payments. The interest is 9% divided by 2. So I know it's 4.5% per semi-annual period. 0 present value and future value is what we're looking for. Now, we are going to have, this is going to be 6 semi-annual periods or 2 years. Here we would have our, let's see here. Yep, our first, our second, and our third, all semi-annual periods, okay? All right, so we will be making 4 payments. We'll be making this payment, a second one, a third one, and a fourth one, and we're trying to figure out what all of these will be worth in the future. Okay, so now we can start using our financial calculator. We're going to start from left to right. Number of periods. Notice it's not years anymore. Number of periods. It's 6 periods. So 6. Interest rate is 4.5. 4.5. Present value is 0. We're not starting with anything, but we are making payments of $2,500. And since we're the ones making the payments, it's negative. And then we're going to compute the future value. So that'll grow to $17,547. So $17,547. What are the cents on that? 547 and 88 cents. 88 cents. Okay, so pretty straightforward. What's important is that you start from top to bottom here, right? And then you figure out what periods we're in. Now, one thing to notice is that these payments were already given to you in semi-annual terms. So you needed to make sure that these other 2 terms were also in semi-annual, okay? And we did that by multiplying and dividing by 2. Okay, let's move on to the last problem, which is based on problem 7. So how much would you have at the end of 3 years if you started off with a total of 5,000? So what are we changing? We're starting off now. That's the present value. We're starting off with an amount. But you could only make semi-annual payments at the end of the period. So semi-annual payment stays the same, but this changes to end mode. So this is changing to end mode. We're staying in semi-annual periods, but we are starting with $5,000. Everything else stays exactly the same. 6 semi-annual payments, and then 4.5% each period. Okay? All right. So notice that's the same as here. Now, let me just, since I have a little bit of time, let me go into a little bit of detail. I have 6 semi-annual payments. That's 2 years. This is the first year. So here's my second semi-annual payment. And here is my first semi-annual payment, right? So I just want to talk really quickly. This 4.5%, notice it's the nominal rate was equal to 9%, right? That means that for the whole year, it's 9%, but let me change the color. But for each of these 6-month periods, it's going to be 4.5%, 4.5%. And when you add those 2 for the first year, that's going to get us back to our 9%. I just wanted to point that out, okay? All right, so let's keep going here. Our payments are still going to be $2,500, and we are looking for the future value. Now, because I know only two things changed, right? Look here, we have 6 and we have 4.5 and we have 2,500. That's exactly what we have here. 3 times 2 is 6. 9 divided by 2 is 4.5, and the 2,500 stays the same. So what changed was changing to end mode, and then the present value, which I can't highlight in blue because it's already blue. So I know I can go back to my financial calculator, and it's at this point it's really easy to say second, change this to end mode. Okay, and then the only thing that changed about this problem was that the present value was now $5,000 negative. So I'm just going to put that into present value. So those are the 2 things that changed. And now I should be able to go here to compute future value. And then the future value would be $23,303 53. So I hate it when that happens. 23,303.53. So that's what our future value would be if we changed to N mode and we started off with $5,000. But everything else remains the same. Okay. All right. So I hope that was helpful. Let that sink in. You know, maybe try it again in a few days if you didn't get it right away. All right. Let's go on. So that's pretty much it for this for these set of questions. But as far as a takeaway, what I'd like you to remember is that it's important to remember what periods we are working in as we work through the problems. And remember, your results for the period, the interest per year, and payment will be in the appropriate period, that being semi-annual, quarterly, or monthly. Okay? All right, guys, I know there was a lot of problems, but this is really important that you get good practice with this. That's the only way you're going to get better and understand it more and more as you keep practicing. All right, I'll see you in the next video.